if we don't consciously make a choice to recreate and outcreate the negative energy with positive energy, we're not going to survive. And it's gotten to the point where we're not going to have a planet for our kids.
Yeah.
So we have to get together.
I know that for sure. I just got back from Africa, and
yes, you did. I can't wait to see your pictures.
Oh, I'm in the editing process. I took 4,000. Yeah, it's taking me a lot of time. But there was so much talk about conservation and just in Africa, and there's so much poverty in Africa, but the people seem to sort of rise above it. There's, they've gotten to a point, it looks like, in their lives where they live their lives in how it is, but they recognize it for their also survival as far as the tourism industry. They finally started protecting the animals because the animals, Kenya in particular is really, really, really working hard to cut down on poaching and habitat encroachment.
I know. I signed petitions online.
Constantly.
I want every fund there is. I'm such an animal rights activist and a human rights activist. And my daughter, I love that you talk about Kenya, because Jess, my daughter got her master's in environmental education and now curator at the LA Zoo.
Wonderful. Wow, that's phenomenal.
I've never even graduated college, so I am so proud of her. But she spent her fall semester of her senior year in college, undergrad, in Kenya, living with 5 different socioeconomic groups, Mimi. So I would love to have you guys talk.
I would love.
She lived with the last hunter-gatherers on Earth. And Jessica was a staunch vegetarian before she went over there, but she talks about that it's such a giving society. They will give you what they don't have.
I loved them.
To their detriment, but they will be honored and blessed in the act of giving, so that you can't denigrate that by not taking it. She talked about living with a family lives in one hut where they cook inside, and it's all
the bomas
smoky inside.
Mm-hmm.
And of course Jessica's vegetarian, but they had so many kids with their little tummies who were out like this because they were they didn't have enough food. Yet the family that adopted her adoptive parents, and they took it very seriously, cooked a meal for her with all their meat rations, and they put it all in for her. Jessica. And Jessica, of course, and she had not had meat touch her lips for so long, but she couldn't say no. And they all sat around proudly and just watched her eat. And Jessica was so emotional. She just kept having to say, because it was smoky in there anyway, say, so that they didn't see her cry at how emotional she was. She says, I have to go outside a minute because it's smoky. And she'd go out and then come back and eat. And they were so proud to be able to do that for her.
They are such kind people.
Example. We could do that. We could teach our own children to do that.
Well, could we just? We have so much.
How about for every toy they receive, they have to gift one to somebody else?
Oh.
Well, they're also talking about how in many countries they have what is it called, a community fridge, because there's so much waste of food in this country. And instead of throwing things away, to go and put it in a fridge somewhere, in a community center, so the people who don't have...
Yeah, that's perfect. Where have we heard that? Is that in New York?
No, it's happening in other countries. More advanced countries, probably Europe. But
I thought I saw something come through. I am such a news junkie. I have it on my text alerts all the time about the latest things. But
maybe they started it here. That would be great.
Well, we have City Harvest here, which picks up from restaurants. But there's so much problem here about suing people and about there's so many rules about sell-by dates and things that it's very hard to even distribute this food, and that kind of stuff has to be stopped. It has to be distributed. The waste is monumental.
Well, how about just getting the politics of everything?
My God.
Always
the
uses
politics
some sort of law to prove what they want to get through.
Well, you know, we were gonna say politics to the end, but obviously it's something we can't even. But you know, this is such a troubling time, and we were gonna ask you what you thought about how are we going to survive this, and how are we going to be able to rise above it? Because I think, at least to me, more than who was running, what was tragic to me was to realize how many people heard that message and were not even just okay with it, but happy and embraced it. Yes, this message, it was not even trying to be covert or subtext or anything. It was out there. It was
they bought what he was selling.
Ugly.
He didn't pretend to be anything else than he was, and it's rather terrifying to me. Even Maasai people who were working in the hotel asked, "What do you think about Trump?"
I know.
That's how hated he is around the world.
And I don't want it to be about bashing anybody. I mean, I've lost dear friends and family who staunchly believe who still believe what he's saying, and say I'm watching the wrong news media. So we have to get out of that. We have to start finding some way of vetting truth on both sides, because everybody is very self-righteous. I obviously believe, and I put out a video with that my Sue Melky, my business partner, and I edited from a song that my daughter and her husband Jess and Jorg Koring wrote, and he's put it out, sang it with his band, Orbit Monkey, called Be the Change.
Be the
Change.
Change.
I'd love to have people go to YouTube and watch that. It's Be the Change.
Okay.
Is it already there? We'll go check it
out. You know, Barbara,
yes,
it's very hard because we hear the truth. They say it, they act it, they do it, we see it, we hear it.
Wiretapping thing,
it's insanity.
The latest is that it was
there
through
is
his
no
microwave.
such thing as alternative facts.
No,
they're either facts or false.
Or it's not true.
Right.
And you can't use it to justify something. And I have a feeling that I hope that the politicians who are looking the other way when all these untruths come out, and again, you have to realize the other side thinks that we are doing untruths.
Yes, but not the whole other side. The senators, the Congress people, the people in charge, they know what's going on. Yes, the people who are uninformed out in the world, yes, they think the same things of us.
I'm a staunch supporter of what you're saying. I am a staunch supporter. But what I've decided to do is, instead of butting heads and saying you're wrong and you're wrong and you're wrong and I'm frickin' right, I am trying to outcreate it with, let's discuss this. I want to show them how to do kindness, as you know, as paralyzing as that sounds. If you check my Facebook page, I am trying to outcreate that. It's facebook.com/Barbara Niven. For instance, and I just want to use this as an example to maybe give people some way to do it in their own little corner of the world, to be an example, to be the change wherever they are. World Hijab Day was coming up. I was shooting up it was just right around the Women's March, and I was up in Canada on a set shooting something for Hallmark, so I couldn't actually be here for the Women's Day March, which is something that I so wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I decided to make a march on my Facebook page and start out creating that. And so I saw that World Hijab Day was going to be the next day, International Women's Hijab Day. So I got out of bed. I saw this at 2 a.m. because I could never sleep. And
that was a question. Go ahead.
And I found a scarf and I wrapped my head in a hijab.
I saw that.
And I made up a sign that said, "Stop Muslim ban," hashtag "Stop Muslim ban," hashtag "I stand with you," and then hashtag World Hijab Day. And I put that out on the internet, on my Facebook page and on Twitter. And oh my gosh, what a furor. What I didn't know what I was going to start. Wow. But it did start a discussion. Yes, I got messages and posts saying you are treasonous. People like you are going to disappear. every name in the book.
This is what we're facing.
I answered people. The worst people I just banned and deleted. Of course, that's what we've all done on both sides. On both sides. But I also got start of a discussion because I said, this is, why are you afraid of these people? It's the basic thing is, I'm talking to you and I and all of us. You guys are preaching to the choir. All know it. But what we have to do is get a rational base of discussion without anger, so that we can start bridging the gap. And I think as more and more news items come out today, the CBO came out about the new Paul Ryan healthcare, and I want them to call it Trump care.
Trump care, yes. The one thing he doesn't want his name on.
Need to own what they are going to do if this thing passes. And the CBO numbers crunched out today, and like something like 15 million people, and I may be off because I just saw
24 million
are going to lose coverage
in 10 years,
and yet CEOs are going to get that make what 500,000 and more, whatever.
500,000. That's a drop in the bucket.
Why? Who in their right mind, if you're doing well, how can you not pay that kindness forward and not pay insurance for people who can't afford it? Who are the neediest of our society?
Do you know what I say every day? How much money do you need?
Absolutely.
I even said that about Ellen, who I saw is making. She's very generous, and she's a philanthropist. But I saw that she was. What kind of a product was she making?
I don't even remember.
Some kind of an insane.
Quilts.
Quilts. Ellen's quilts. She has, and I thought. I know that she's a philanthropist and she gives a lot of money and she's a wonderful, fabulous person. But how much money do you need?
But you know what? Somebody told me once, because I give away, I help people, I do all of that. And then a business coach, because I'm not a great business person, that's why I have Sue Melky, my business partner, said that, you know what? Charge the people who can pay, so you can actually afford to do more charity.
To the people who can.
And that was an aha moment for me.
Yes.
So I can still do all of that and have the power and the ability to do it. Because if you can't take care and pay your bills yourself, you have to, then you can't help either. So to be an example of paying kindness forward. And first, when you're starting out to find a mentor to help, that's what women need to do. And then also being a mentor to more and more people as your success happens.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in giving as much as you can where you can, even if it's individual. There was a guy sitting in front of Dwayne Reed today, with a sign saying, oh, I hope I can get in from the snowstorm. I gave him $1. I know it's crazy, but then I thought to myself, if this is your job, if this is the way you earn a living, it's cold today, it's a hard day. Take the $1 just in case you really need it. I've been doing that since the day I set foot in New York, and I can't pass everybody with.
I can't either. And I just say, or what I'll do is go in and I'll say, wait right here, and I'll go in and get them
some food or something. Yes, this person wasn't asking for food. It was, he wanted to be able to spend the night inside.
Well, let that be the worst problem we ever have, that you're too kind and generous, both of you.
Well,
because I can't live with myself if I don't. I mean, at the end of it all, I mean, I have something here that it says, a sign in my bathroom here, that says, enjoy the little things, because someday those will be the big things in your life as you look back on it.
They add up.
That's absolutely true. That it's not about the money, as we're talking about, and that's what I don't understand. And I don't, and see, this new regime is not just about money, but it's about demolishing America. And just as
value.
It's about deconstructing the American state. And who knew? I mean, when I saw that Trump won, I mean, as all of us, we will never forget we were as we were watching that happen. And the next, I think I'm still in shock.
Me too.
I know that we all are, and we're trying to get our feet still back under us.
I get nauseous.
Yes, but maybe that was the best thing that could have happened in a way. I mean, it's way worse than what I ever imagined. But look at the activism that we have started doing.
That's
look
what
at what
that's what
the awareness that we have.
I agree, but the problem is that it's going to take a long time to undo what's been done. And the activism is fantastic, especially because it's grassroots and it's getting the younger people aware of what's going on. But as far as activism and what goes on in Washington, they don't care.
I do want to.
It's like throwing rocks at a steel wall.
But I keep saying, because I've been very depressed since the election, and I keep saying, if this ends up being our Prop 8 moment, because before Prop 8, gay people kind of tried to keep a low profile. We had some rights, we didn't have all rights, let's not rock the boat. Prop 8 made us realize that we can't just sit and wait for them to give us anything. And look at what happened in the last, since 2008 that was, in the last 8 years, how much as the gay rights community, how much rights we've achieved. So if we can do this again, it's obviously much harder, and it
is hard because we were living in a world 8 years ago that was a very different world politically than we're living in now. Listen, I'm old enough to remember when the Republicans were just fiscal conservatives. They were fine, wonderful people in the Republican Party, people you could get along with and talk to, and had human values, and were churchgoers and synagogue goers.
Yes. Just and living what religion is supposed to teach. What
exactly
teaches love and not judgment.
No,
now I don't know how it's gotten so skewed. And my fear is that, I've supported the LGBT community.
Yes, you have.
So much. And I'm very straight. I almost wish I were, because I see love stories like you guys. But, you either are or you're not. I mean, and that's
the truth.
You're born that way.
I have many friends.
Not everybody is as lucky.
I have many friends who say, "Oh, I wish I could be gay."
Yeah, and you guys' love story inspires me. I just worked on this event with American Humane, and with all the American Hero Dog Award winners.
Oh God, one of my favorite things.
Again. It was a beautiful fundraising event that we actually had at Mar-a-Lago. Can you believe it?
Well, did you pay? If you pay to have it there, you can have anything there.
But you know what? Again, I don't want to ever speak with judgment, because these people, no matter what their political beliefs are, they came together because they believe in saving animals and saving people. So we can't lump people into a whole big category, either black or white. We have to start finding the gray values in between that connect us, and then start adding the rainbow back in.
Yes, I'm so in agreement with that. I think that it's going to be a very hard road, but I think that the thing is not to become, not to be battle weary, because already I don't sign half of the petitions that pass my way, because they all end in asking for money. Yeah. Which you can't, so I start to question, well, first of all, anything that goes to Congress, it doesn't matter. They don't care. My particular senators and Congress people are all on, to me, the right side of history.
Yeah, mine too. I'm in California, so I've got Feinstein, Kamala Harris is brand new.
Listen,
we're
both
representative is Tony Cardenas.
We're very lucky, you and us, because we live in very progressive states. I do sign things for animal rights. I do sign anything that a petition will go to somebody who might
Congress.
be moved. But when it comes to government, I don't sign anything that goes to government anymore because I am battle weary. I realize that they don't care.
But you know what? Okay, so got that. So I think I've heard that it takes more, and I still do those petitions. I do them. I'm signed up, so I just click them off. I do them on my iPhone all the time. But we can make phone calls, and even when the voice box is full, I'll still keep calling and calling and calling, because I've heard that will make a difference.
That will make a difference.
I just don't want to give up. We all get battle weary. We just can't have this be normalized.
No, it can't be.
And the way that they're strategizing, I think Trump comes off as, he just shoots from the hip. But maybe he does. but I believe he's a puppet more.
He shoots from Bannon's hip.
The only thing that Trump cares is Trump. Trump cares about is Trump. Everything else is opportunism, and he will say whatever he needs to say.
And Bannon, they're very smart strategically, because every time he does these tweets, and I'm sure he's the last person, as we know, in Trump's ear going, look at this. And then Trump goes, oh, self-importance. Oh, yes, I have to do this. And Bannon's going, yay, Trump. Yeah. Yay, good job. And so we go off, and all the media goes off on all these huge things. Meanwhile,
he does all this other stuff.
You've heard Mitch McConnell just say, oh, yeah, we have somebody in there now. It doesn't matter who was in there, but he's going to sign everything.
Exactly.
So while we're doing all of this stuff and self-aggrandizing and
they don't care.
Be self-important. Like, we're putting these dots together. Look at this. Meanwhile, look at how many bills they have crammed through. Look what they've done to the EPA. Look at all the EPO things that they've done.
The endowment for the arts.
The EO, rather. Even they just banned. They have a bill in there now to ban the ability to do a class action lawsuit if a corporation hurts you. That is right on the back, piggybacked on the fact that they just lowered. They just allowed corporations to dump toxic waste into streams,
so,
etc.
Barbara, what do we do?
There's a major plan here going on.
What do we do? Because they have all the power. They have all the power. The Democrats are just sort of a little limb hanging loose from the
Democrat. But that's the Democratic Party. I think all the Democratic Party. I'm really disappointed in them too, because frankly, they're just hysterically going, "Oh no."
But they have no power, Barbara.
I hear Nancy Pelosi even kind of in this voice, and
they're hysterical because they have no power anywhere of any kind.
No, but where they don't, but we the
do.
People do.
Well, next election.
Look what's happening. Look at, I could get so emotional about what we are accomplishing.
Yes.
Every one of us who go to an office, who go to one of the marches, and look at those people, even though when it's getting spun as if it's saying, oh, all those people are paid protesters. So then they start
no
putting
one believes
their
that.
zip code up there, but and those senators and those representatives, especially the senators, though, because it's coming up in 2017, 2018, that there are consequences.
Let's hope so, Barbara, because it hasn't proven to be so. The Republicans in Congress have been obstructing good for years now, and they get reelected and reelected and reelected. So this is where my fear is.
Well, also
the people
because
need to step. Yes, gerrymandering.
There's the electoral
but
college.
The people need to step up.
There is voter suppression. There are so many ways that they figured out to skew the system toward them, and as long as they're in power, they're not going to change it. So that's all
we have to look at. We can't just be okay. So here's how I think.
I know,
babe. Being a Democrat means that we are basically, we go along to get along. We want peace, love, and happiness, and we're way more PC, more politically correct. And the Republicans fight dirty, and they have for a long time. And I hope that we have learned that we have to fight dirty too.
Absolutely.
In the name of doing what's right for everybody, fighting for the people who need their Medicare, fight for Medicare expansion, for health care, for all the people whose voices are being undermined now. We have to step up.
People over corporations.
We can't have a voice up here anymore.
No.
My
motto is
don't yell because
when they go low, we go lower. I personally worship Michelle Obama, but I said I think she lost us the election. We do not. Going higher has got us nowhere. We have to get in there with the truth. We can't.
But the truth doesn't necessarily have to mean that we have to fight that way.
Of course not. I'm being facetious.
Non-truth. But we fight with honor.
With honor and with the truth. The truth. We can't just sit back and take being slapped around anymore.
Nope. I love Maxine Walters. Do you guys know
Waters? Maxine Waters. She is my God.
I know.
Oh,
and she said it from the very first.
I have an altar.
That Comey, he's lost all credibility. I can't talk anymore about it. He's lost all credibility.
You know how they say that Trump says it as it is? Maxine Waters is the only one who says it as it is because she actually says it as it is, and she speaks the truth as opposed to him making up stuff.
I love her. I think that she is.
So, and I love on the Republican Party. I'm hoping every time I see John McCain on camera, he looks like he's almost on a hostage video, because you can see he's saying the words he should be saying and alluding a little bit to the truth that he thinks that about what's happening. Yet he's not crossing that political line enough.
But this is how I feel about McCain. McCain knows what's right. McCain doesn't have that much more time in the political arena. Yeah. He should not leave his legacy as having been one of them. He should leave as his legacy being the gentleman that he is, and speak up for what is right. And every time I see him speaking the party line, I want to start screaming and never stop. And it's people like McCain who still have a soul that need to hang on to that soul. He doesn't have to worry about being reelected anymore. Let him end his career with honor.
Yes, exactly. But I think there are some others who are starting to turn. Did you watch, I think his name is Senator Tom Cotton?
Yes.
I heard of him.
Yes.
So do you remember him at that videos taped town hall he had where he was reamed on stage? And finally, he's now coming up because so many people in Arkansas are really beneficiaries of Obamacare, of the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, but who did they vote for?
but so this should be, Democrats have got to be smart about this, and before it gets passed, they have to let the people know what's happening. So all of those Trump voters in these states like this who really benefit, who didn't realize that Obamacare is the
Affordable Care Act.
Come on. It's like Democrats have got to get smart. And I hope Keith Ellison and what is his name? The guy who just got elected.
The DNC chair?
The DNC.
Of the DNC chair. I can't think of his name.
Tim. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're going to pair up, because I just hope that they can get a strong movement and get some strategy going.
Well, we have to do something. And giving up is not the way to go, but it is a very hard fight, because it is a very overwhelming enemy.
Right, but so here's the stuff that I don't understand, honestly. I have this darn hair that keeps getting my eye. Okay, so I don't understand this. How is Flynn not being charged with treason?
How is it?
How is it? The definition? How is all of those people who knew it and still had him on the National Security Council, how are they, and with all the clearances, after they knew that he needed to register as as an agent of foreign government, how are those people, how are they not under treason
yet?
What
about Session, who is our Attorney General and perjured himself?
Perjured himself in his hearing.
Well, first of all, I think that, for example, when Session did something like that, and then 2 days later, Trump went on Twitter and said, Obama wiretapped me, and all of a sudden the entire conversation changed from Session to...
It didn't.
Which was strategic, wasn't it? Because a Breitbart article was left on his desk by, I'm sure, guess who.
But the thing is that at least people like MSNBC, at least the press knows, they say at the same time, this is done to make us not talk about this. They haven't bought it wholesale anymore. They're still making reference to it. But isn't it Congress that has to do this? Congress has to bring these.
If Hillary had done an iota of what he has done in a month, she would have been in jail.
She would have been in Leavenworth.
Of course.
So somebody needs to hold them accountable. I don't know why nobody holds them
accountable. But we have checks and balances in place.
Supposedly.
Yes, but the emolument clause, and
this is going to be a very, very big test for American democracy to see if it survives something like this, because as I keep saying, Hitler used all the tools of democracy to become a dictator. He didn't do anything. I mean, he really just used democracy to become a dictator. So we have to now show that it can't happen here. But it's scary to think that it might.
There's an interesting correlation. My activism really started. I mean, I've been doing it for animals for a long time, and then doing it with the LGBT rights, and I did that PSA with Nicole Kahn called She For Me, Marriage Equality USA. But I don't think I've ever been an activist until a true warrior. I mean, I was a warrior for marriage equality because I guess that's where it all shifted when I started meeting Nicole and did the movie A Perfect Ending and all. But we have no choice now because everything that we know and love is on the line. Democracy,
endangered species.
Climate change. Yeah, and what I was going to say is one of the reasons that when I started this was through my daughter and her husband and the song that they wrote called Be the Change by Irma Hockey and the video, which I really urge people to watch, please. We did the video all through the holidays after we were devastated by the election, but before he actually took office and before we knew. And we released it on Martin Luther King Day because, again, it's for equal rights that we're losing left and right again. But Jorg, my daughter's husband, grew up in Germany. He's a German. He's here now and he's married her. But he talks about that his parents grew up in that era and his grandparents, and he hears stories. And growing up in the German school system, every day it was pounded into their head to be watchful that this could never happen again. So isn't it interesting that from his persona and his point of view to come here, he is creating a change here now and making us aware. And so just we cannot have this become normal.
No.
And as you say, we can become battle weary, but we have to remind each other. It's like, I liken a flock of geese. Do you know that geese, I always do this when I talk about to women's groups, is geese, a flock is like a women's group. Because so many times one woman is a leader and we care for each other and she's the leader and we all support her. But when she gets weary, she flies aside in a goose formation, and then the next one comes up and leads for a while till they get tired. And then they just keep trading places. And I hope that that's what we are being prepared for, that we can all support each other, and when one gets a little weary, the other one will step in and give the rest of us courage again and motivation again and say, damn it, we are not going to stop.
Well, I think women are going to be the change.
Well,
I think it's up to us completely. I think that we have to elect more women. Women have to take the lead in this because for some reason or other, men are not able to.
Well, even that is, I can't say that either. I think we need each other because there are so many great men out there who are feminists as well, who march right along every side, everybody. We need it not to be about men and women. We need it to be about humanity.
No, I agree with you, but I'm saying women now who have been held back from the forefront of politics and movements.
Oh, God, yes.
We need to, it's our turn to lead.
Yes,
that's all.
Well, I do want to, since we're talking about a lot about activism, but we know that, yes, I'm trying to, I always say that in every interview we do, I'm trying to herd cats. That's what I do.
Yes. I know, and I can talk forever, and I'm just so passionate.
Well, so can we.
No,
I mean,
exactly.
you've tapped into the complete zeitgeist of
well, we're all
our
very
life.
Passionate about it.